Hello, class. This is Group 2, and we will be discussing our critique of poor air quality linked to cognitive problems in babies. This journal article is a recent publication that explores the potential link between poor indoor air quality in India and impaired cognitive ability in infants and children under the age of 2 years old. This link between air pollution and developmental ability in children is significant as air pollution is a global issue which continues to grow. For the first time, this research establishes an association between poor air quality and impaired visual cognition in the first 2 years of life. This time period is when brain growth is at its peak. Previous studies have been conducted to link poor air quality to impaired cognitive function, but this is the first time it is being explored for this age group. This critique will examine the following aspects of the journal article: strengths of the study, limitations, implications of the findings, methodology, interpretation of results, potential bias, and potential direction for future research. Strengths of the study. This study has many strengths that contribute to its credibility. First, the large sample size of 215 infants is very beneficial. By having so many subjects, the statistical accuracy of the results are much more credible. Secondly, the experiment took place over 2 years. The combination of length and sample size give many data points for the researchers to analyze and interpret. Third, a specially designed test was used to evaluate information processing time and memory. This was very useful in understanding the cognitive ability of infants and children under the age of 2. Without the ability to speak, it can be difficult to gauge information processing time and memory. But eye mapping technologies combined with the specifically designed changing displays, researchers were able to establish a basis for testing these infants' visual cognition. Lastly, the use of in-home air quality monitors were a great tool to quantify air quality in the homes these infants reside in. Limitations of the study. While this study had a good foundation, there were still some apparent limitations. This study did not take into account factors such as prenatal exposure, genetics, or other outside environmental factors on cognitive ability. These external factors may have affected the final results. Also, this study was only conducted in a specific area of India, which is a small rural subsection of the district of Uttar Pradesh. This means that the results are only valid for this rural subsection until further studies expand to other regions. Implications of the findings. This journal suggests that the improvement of air quality may positively benefit infants' cognitive ability and long-term well-being. These positive effects may push world leaders to pass legislation and policy to reduce allowable air pollution and even provide financial incentives for companies that reduce their total atmospheric pollutant emissions. The result of this journal could also push for further research in the area of study to develop a deeper understanding of the links between different air pollutants and their generalized effect on the public. Critique of the methodology. While the use of the specially designed test allows for definitive results, this cognitive test only focuses on the visual recognition from the subjects. This test does not take into account motor functions, audio processing, or other developmental skills. Also, the use of in-home air monitoring systems quantify air pollutants in the infant's home atmospheres, but it does not take into account exposures outside of the home. Critique of the interpretation of results. The journal places a causational link between the air pollutants in the environment to impaired cognitive development and ability when in actuality, further research, additional studies, and larger sample sizes would be needed to make this link definitive. The use of causational link does not take into account potential pre-existing conditions or cognitive effects from birth. While the results of this study may be true, further research is needed to confirm the direct cause and effect link between air quality and impaired or delayed cognitive abilities in children and infants. Potential bias and confounding factors. It is important to minimize biases whenever possible when conducting research. This study was conducted on subjects who live in a small rural area of India and may cause the results to be biased only to this region or may only be applicable to rural areas. This study also leaves out external factors such as education level of the parents, the child's nutritional habits, and the air quality in the surrounding environments, among other things. By leaving out factors that may influence the results of this study, biased results may be present. Future research directions. Many different research projects can expand upon the findings of this research. Sample demographics and locations where subjects are selected from can be increased. Doing so will help make the results of this study more widely applicable. The effects of particular types of air pollutants can also be analyzed. This will help pinpoint which indoor pollutants are most significantly impacting cognitive ability. Sample size and length of study can be increased. This will help increase the robustness of the statistical results. Different types of developmental tests for the subjects to perform can be included. For example, motor function and/or audio processing tasks can be added to this study. Also, the outside factors such as parental education, nutrition, and genetic defects present that were not initially considered in this study but could potentially have affected the results can also be analyzed. Conclusion. This journal is a key stepping stone in the research between poor air quality and the potential effects it has on infants and children under the age of 2 years old. While there are things that could be changed to increase the credibility of the results of this study, the results allow for expanding research in this field to create a better understanding on the effects of air pollution in the population. This journal's results may be used as a reference to encourage health agencies to fund further research on the topic and encourage policymakers to change current air pollution regulations to prevent further long-term effects. Thank you for your time and attention. We look forward to receiving your questions.